Hello everybody, welcome back. Happy Halloween weekend or weekend of Samhain. October 31st. What a great, wonderful, marvelous opportunity to dress up as oneself. Today, my darlings, I'm playing with an October deck. I brought the Polka Tarot. I just want to show it some love in this video. I don't know. Last year, I had a whole other experience with this deck that I'm having this year. It's really quite freaky. I was gonna go through my favorite and least favorite card in this deck, but I just can't do it. Even though, if you know this deck, the pips are quite difficult to interpret. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. I don't really feel like I have least favorite cards in this deck, although we might find it, who knows. I mostly have love for this deck, and just the way that I was able to mod it years ago and, you know, change the box, etc. I'll just show everything and mostly just talk about my experiences using this deck. That's basically what I'm doing, and in case you hadn't noticed, this is the first video I am filming in my own van. And this is a semi-inspiring parking lot, but I have a feeling we're going to lose the extremely white Dutch light any minute now, but I'll just increase the light on the camera and it should be fine. Clancy and Susie becoming friends. Yeah, I actually think the camper's name is Susie. Don't ask me why. Let's get into it. Ooh, I've been doing some nice tarot readings. It's been a great month for tarot readings. Nothing special, you know, it wasn't like October, Halloween, spooky tarot readings. I was just using good old Centennial Rider-Waite-Smith. I was in the store, I did some Skype stuff, you know, next to all the Patreon stuff that happens every month anyway. I also had appointments in Amsterdam, and that was so lovely. You know, I just light a candle, we get into it, and yeah, it's nice to get to know people this way. It's really nice to be able to solve the puzzle of the cards that they pulled, you know. So I have a little thing to say. Next week's video, I think that's when I'll post it, is sort of a follow-up on last week's video. But then I realized that this is Halloween weekend, so I decided to add in this one as a special occasion, basically. What I have in mind now is a sort of a very Kellyanne Maddox style afterthoughts video on both of those videos, so last week and next week, for the month of November over on Patreon, probably in the headliner tier. If you're interested in that, then you can head on over there and check out my private rock concert. The only reason I call it that right now is because all the tiers are made from rock concert. What even is the word? So I have opening act, headliner, after party, rush the stage, VIP lounge. You get the gist, right? So I have my my polka here. I know I show it all the time these days. I did the clue mystery whodunit tag with this. I actually put the extra cards on the box I made. Basically, this is a hardcover tuck box, but it works great. Yeah, I put everything from the original box, oh, it's upside down, on here. Definitely don't regret it. Yeah, it's quite perfect. Worked out well. I had to make a new box because the deck got really, really thick, adding that black contact paper, which is really, really thick. But I love it now, you know, it's maybe a little bit too thick, but it still shuffles really well. I think this is one of my favorite mods because I really did everything, you know, apart from trimming it. Because I didn't want to trim it. It doesn't feel right sometimes. You know I like borders anyway. But I don't know. I just feel this is better for this deck, for the personality of this deck, because it's a Marseille type. Not actually. It's not actually a Marseille. I take that back. It's called a Marseille, but it isn't. But it's inspired by Marseille. You see, like the Hermit still is number 9, yet it's 5 plus 4. See that in the Roman numeral up there. And so, even though it looks very modern, it's inspired by a historical deck. So I feel actually the borders just basically frame the card. That's really what I'm looking for. I don't feel a Marseille that is trimmed, or a historical older deck that is trimmed always looks better. I kind of want to keep some original features. This is all types of weird, man. Honestly. But I like it. This is like the Kraken coming out. La Route Fortune. So, I know I've said this before, but it's been a while since I shared that in a video. I don't know if you noticed, but this deck uses light in a very special manner. Maybe it doesn't show that much in the Justice card, but just look at these 3. See how there's a light source in every card? The Empress has this globe that lights up, that glows. There's a lantern and then the moon. And there's a lot of detail, mostly in the clothes and the background. And everything is jewel toned, so those deep colors. I'm not going to say what I say every time about the gore, but this is just so funny. A hangman where you actually only see the head, and he's not upside down. He's actually a hanged man with his with his tongue out. So what I said last year about this deck is it's full of cold people, which is still kind of true. This was one of our suspects from the Whodunit game, the Tarot Clue game. I called it, "It's my party and I'll solve a murder case if I want to," because it was the weekend of my birthday that I posted the video. So what I said last year, and I'll link the video, it's full of cold people. And I was feeling the distance, judgment, overall just lack of warmth from the people around me. Not my friends, but just like overall, I feel the world. Last year I had trouble. I had some trouble with, it just felt very unfriendly. It's an unfriendly place, man, you know? And this year, it's starting to, we're finally starting to melt a little bit. It feels like last year we were frozen. This year we're all going to be cold due to the gas prices and electric and everything going up like crazy. Except that we'll have each other, at least, you know? We'll be able to share our grievances together and maybe even laugh about it, who knows. So actually these cold folk in this deck, because they all look gray, they started to almost speak to me. Just look at how strict and certain this emperor is. But now I kind of know him better, and he feels like a fun uncle somehow. Just look at this priestess, la papesse. She is, I mean, they do look unfriendly, but you know who else looks unfriendly often? This girl. I don't feel like the lack of friendly, or maybe it even feels kiss-ass smiles, stop me from having nice interactions with all the people. Strangers, friends, family members alike. Look, I feel this guy has a bit of a fake smile there. It makes you not trust him. This is the magician, the butler, so actually the juggler. It makes sense. He is supposed to be not very trustworthy. He is supposed to be the con man. He's supposed to be the one that tricks you. It's the trickster. But underneath the surface, I feel like when his working hours are over, because this is like a street magician, right? Street performer. Then he becomes this more relaxed person. He kind of takes off his hat, in my mind, and just finds a comfortable position and then just starts talking about, I don't know, his adventures or something. Even this angry looking angel, guess he has something to be angry about. That's it. You see how different the perspective is? And this is like a whoops, whoops tower. Like something terrible is happening and this person is falling, but it's funny. So it doesn't feel, you see how, I keep cutting myself off, but you see how this person in green still tried to help the person in red? So it's not cold, it's not unfriendly. It's just such a lovely deck. Am I selling this to you? I'm sorry if I am, because I believe this deck is out of print. Ooh, okay. I think we found our least favorite card. This is the Fool. And in this system it's 22, because there's no 0. It starts at the 1 for the Magician. This one just looks so... I don't know what to make of this. Do you guys know why he has such a black and white checkered pattern on this his top and his hat? Because I can make something, not something up, but I can think of something, but I'm wondering, maybe you guys know Tarot de Marseille nuance regarding this, because usually we see that as a floor pattern, you know, very Freemason-like, on the Justice card, on the Emperor card, sometimes even the High Priestess or Priestess, Papess. Yeah, but not on the Fool. So wondering there. Okay, so all the face cards, love them. They are amazing. Even though it's still very pale and gray and there isn't a lot of life and nobody's smiling. I think this is the biggest smile we get in this deck from the lovely King of Cups, our most sensitive fellow. They really feel much more like my friends. Yes. I always knew that Polka and the Triomphe de la Luna Paradoxical were friends, and they kind of knew each other, except that Triomphe is so much more open and happy and welcoming. This deck, it makes you work for it. It makes you work to be a part of the team. It's like, get in, loser, we're going shopping. But you have to kind of be, you know, part of the gang first. Like, wear pink on Wednesdays, stuff like that. So, pip cards. Because no way am I going to call this a Marseille, okay? I don't know. But, you know, this is one of my favorite pip decks. Not because every card makes sense, although this one does. 10 of Swords, yes. But because it's just so bloody beautiful. Look at those colors, seriously. Okay, so I know everybody sees this deck as a spooky season, autumn, fall, Halloween deck. I actually get that, but it's not spooky. It's just a little bit creepy and gory, which is fun, because I don't have anything like it. Yet, although Secret Poker Oracle maybe a little bit. That was a lovely gift. I use it so often. I actually see this more as a Christmas time deck. This is one of my few French decks, and it's those deep colors, actually. There's a lot of Christmas red and Christmas green that just remind me of the holidays, December. I don't know. Am I the only one? Am I alone in this? Is those jewel tones, right? Those deep colors. They do make me feel cozy and warm and happy. Honestly, I love to use this around, the end of December. But now I've already been using it since September. And I don't know, I feel like I'm not conveying how different this feels now. It's just something clicked. It's not that I necessarily know it better. It feels like now I can play. I can relax and play. Maybe I'm in a better spot mentally. Maybe it's just that simple. Mentally, emotionally. Okay, look. Isn't this just a freaking gorgeous pip card? Seriously. 10 of Cups. And yes, that is blood. But blood doesn't always mean creepy, scary, death, hurting. It also means life, doesn't it? Although this looks like bloodshed, but we're weirdos, right? I mean, us tarot lovers. I feel like most oracle folk go for the angels and the glitter. Nothing wrong with that. But over here on Tarot Tube, I feel most of us are into the creepy stuff. We want to see the blood. Ooh, that's almost an Annihilation Time song. I fucking love that band. It's so good. What is this? 2 of Swords. Yes, okay, so here we actually have 2 swords. Love it. 3 of Swords. Apparently we're supposed to see those umbilical cords around that middle sword as swords as well. It does remind us of the historical original 3 of Swords with those red branches right there. I always love the Marseille 3 of Swords. And even though this is far from traditional, it's lovely. And you see how they really brought in the depth, So the background is textured. There's a light in the middle that emerges, which I still sometimes miss in readings. It's just in videos when I show the deck where I'm like, oh yeah, look at that pinkish purple light emerging from the middle part of the card, surrounded by that beautiful deep blue. So this is 7 of Coins, which is closer to original Marseille than that 3 of Swords, for instance, because first of all, we have no Roman numeral, no number on the coins cards, which is also the case in Marseille decks. And this composition is Marseille style, yet we have this umbilical cord almost looking like a noose in the middle. This is actually the 9 of Wands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So actually we have to count the branches and the top. That means 9 wands. I put a little dot on the bottom of the card. See that? Just in case I happen to use reversals or some cards get reversed. And this is because I want to make sure they're all upright. I mean, these are just the cards with I wouldn't be able to tell unless I really, really, really knew the deck, whether it was upright or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is frustrating because now look at the 9 and the 10 of Wands. They both have 9 branches plus the top, meaning 9. Yet I guess now that these are put together again, we count that as a wand as well, or a baton. But we do see some form of process, right? Something happens. There is a story. There is an adventure. Like the 10 actually has leaves growing, new growth. So what I really should do is put them all in order and see what happens, because that's just how we learn to read Marseille. This card is damaged. Oh yeah, I put some Mod Podge to fix it. Poor 5 of Cups. Guess it fits the card. So here I just happen to have the 4 and the 5 of Cups. Now this is very Marseille reminiscent, so have less trouble reading that and interpreting that. What actually happens here? Well, there's a part of the umbilical cord hidden in the 5, whereas in the 4 it's just kind of there. And that makes sense. I might be making things up at this point because I don't have the whole deck out in front of me. But usually in the 5s, any 5, we see the new cup or the new coin, etc., between the vines. So it's still hidden and it needs to come out in the next card. I really love this 3 of Cups because of those, what are those called? Poppy seeds? I'm not sure. Let me know if you know. Isn't that just beautiful? I kind of adore this 8 of Swords. We got 7 flowers surrounding that single sword. And this is the thing with pip decks. With these cards, you have to stop thinking Marseille, structure, or Rider-Waite-Smith, or Thoth, or, well, maybe Thoth, actually, with all of those, I don't know, Thoth-looking flowers. But you have to think pip deck. That can be anything. So here, we still have one sword to show that it's the sword suit, the sword family, yet the sword's actually transformed into flowers here. Now what I see here is the sword goes through the loop of the umbilical cord. It's trying to pin down one of the flowers, and all the flowers are like a garland. They are connected. So when one of them is pinned down, you see it's just about to happen. Put a pin in it. Then all the other ones are kind of trapped there too. There is still life happening because I see this umbilical cord almost still moving. And the flowers are alive as well. They kind of feed off of this. Ooh, this is becoming so weird. Like a weird bee movie, you know? But I kind of like it. It's just about being patient, I feel. Being patient and still focused enough to see the right moment to take the pin out, take the sword out, and move into the unknown. Because the 8, it's gonna survive. It's gonna survive because it's the perfect number, you know, the lemniscate. It doesn't need anything from any type of outside force to move or to remain alive, breathing. Yet, at some point, we're gonna have to break free, break out of this. Yeah, step into that unknown and less secure place of the 9. 4 of Wands. Isn't it cool with that blood dripping on the hand? We got 4 wands, and it's not like we can see thorns. We actually see the beauty and the fruitfulness and the promise with those little buds and tiny leaves. There is a sacrifice that's being made, I think, that's been made, which is, I feel here in the 4, it can be seen, not in the Rider-Waite-Smith system, but in any type of freer system, it can be seen as a sacrifice because it's a wand suit, it's the batons, it's fire, it's passion. You want to do things, action, yet what do we get? It's stability. It's a foundation. It's a square, a house, a place. It's good, but maybe that's not what you want. Maybe you get impatient. It's a compromise. It is. You get the stability, you get some type of safety, security, and you have to compromise a bit of that wild, creative fire that you've got going on. Wow, look at that. 9 of Swords. So we just saw the 8. And now all the flowers have transformed into those umbilical cords. And the sword is now pointing down, which looks less like good news It feels like something is being put into place that is heavy. A little bit more negative, maybe. This is me totally, I realize that. Filling in those blanks with what I know of the card. Which, let me think. Let me open my mind just a little bit. Because, to be fair, the 9 in Marseille, all it says, it's not necessarily negative. It's just the end of a cycle, because 10 is the end and a new beginning. It's that transition. The 9, being an active number, going into the unknown, that's the thing that makes us worry. Actually, the 9 is just energy that is, there's a lot of it. So this would be air. I like to implement elements in my readings. It makes it more understandable, more relatable, in my opinion. The 9 is always, there's a lot of energy, and the 9 of Swords is there's a lot of air energy. So when it becomes a lot, when we're talking about the realm of the mind, yeah, I kind of do see that as a negative thing. It's either that, we worry, we're stressed, right? Just a cloudy, chaotic, unfocused brain, burdened brain. Or it's, we have so many ideas and we are soaring. But I just don't have that feeling. Also, looking at this artwork, I don't have the feeling that that's what they meant. It's almost like tentacles or hair, Medusa's hair. Medusa's snake hair hanging down. Maybe even just being defeated, finding death, and because the Gorgon was misunderstood. That is my version of all the Gorgon sisters, alright? They were not supposed to be slain. 10 of Coins is gorgeous because they're all connected except for this one, yet if you see, it's surrounded. So it's either connected or surrounded. So this is as if it's a base. We're all surrounding, we're protecting. Then there's the knot that literally here almost ties everything together, ties everyone together. And then here on top, it's maybe the new generation. It's a little bit more free, yet they're all still connected to one another. It's just so fun, everything we can see in these pips. I think we've arrived at the favorite card. So this is nothing new, okay? I love all the court cards. This is probably the deck with the best court cards. Not gonna lie. Although Thoth has the best court cards. Sorry, Polka. It's just, you know, this is the reason I got this deck back in the day. I don't know, a few years ago. It's not that long ago. I'm really losing the light, as I said, but these 5 punctured baby heads, oh, this is terrible, from the 5 of batons is what sold this deck to me. This is so 5 of Wands because it's competitive, and it's that elbow work, as we say in Dutch. I don't know if that's an English expression, but we say elbowing everybody out of the way to get to your goal, and basically you don't care who's around you, and you don't care about people. You don't care about the things that actually matter in order to get ahead in life. So we see a little bit of that. That's very young, inexperienced, and careless energy in order to get ahead, in order to... ahead? You actually get a head. Okay, sorry. This deck really brings a smile to my face. I mean, I'm getting silly. But yeah, that competitive aspect, that competitive mindset is interesting because as a dancer, now dance teacher, I definitely grew up with this environment. It was very competitive. Yet, well, first of all, those folks weren't my friends, okay? I made friends with the non-dancers in the school, in the high school. That for one. Although, coming to Amsterdam, everything was better. From day one, I just couldn't believe it. I just wasn't made to be on that side of the country. The other side of the country, no, it was made to be here. And just have some more open-minded people, you know, like less judgmental at least. Anyway, I quickly found that it wasn't about taking out the others. as you see here. It's not that kind of sacrifice you want to make, because you sacrifice so much anyway when you have this one goal in mind. Competitiveness, I think, is a good thing, is a good motivator. It challenges us. But still, it's an experiment and it's not the final goal. What we have when we're in the Five of Wands. It's not life or death. We need a bit of perspective. I feel this is, as I said, very inexperienced young energy. It's not the actual fight. It's not the actual conflict. We're still learning at this point. And so maybe take it a little less seriously and just enjoy it as a part of the exercise. So all of this, all of those baby heads, kind of unnecessary, but it makes me laugh. Okay, let's see what we get from this deck today. I'm just going to pull one card to finish this video. What exactly is this video about? Just polka appreciation? Le tarot par polka. That means the tarot by polka. That's an artist name, I assume. What do we need to hear? Oh, okay. The Knight of Coins. Knight of Coins is the slowly but surely card, isn't it? It's the turtle. It's the turtle of our quartz system. And this one has the coins in his eyes. And he's actually riding a skeleton horse. I really do see those almost sunglasses as a type of, he has his goal in mind, or his eyes on the prize. That's what it is. He has his eyes on the prize. And he's going for it. And it's not the type of elbowing, that I just talked about. It's secure. It's structured. It's slow but surely. It's step by step. And because it's more about taking your time and doing things correctly, doing things right, doing things with a type of security about it. Yeah, just making sure everything is helping the process along. This makes it a better energy, an energy that shows more experience than what I just talked about in the Five of Wands. It's not about fast, now, quickly results. We do go for the results. We do go for that prize in the end. Yet, it's not a must now. It definitely shows a lot of patience. So what I'm getting out of this now is stay focused. Don't let anything distract you. Also, disappointments along the way. Don't let those sway you too quickly. Don't let those distractions or forks in the road or blocks get you down. Don't give up, is what this says. That's your message, in case you wanted it. I'm thinking, why is he riding a skeleton horse? I definitely have an idea, but I'm going to keep that to myself for now. And you know what I'd love for you to comment what you feel the skeleton horse means. And it means something, because in other cards we got a horse with sticks up his eyes. Another card has a skinless horse. What's the other horse like? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, the other knight is actually fell off his horse because he got kicked off. And this one is actually one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse almost. What would this be? The plague? Could be the plague. Let me know what you see in this. I genuinely want to hear. So yeah, instead of a word that you can comment about the skeletal horse. And then I also asked in the middle of the video something else that I wanted to hear. I already forgot what it was, but editing Anna will sure be curious to hear what you have to say about that, I'm sure. All I want to say at this point is thanks for being here, really, and you have a wonderful weekend, okay? I think I'm just gonna be Morticia Adams because I don't have the budget or anything to go shopping. So I'm just gonna be myself in my own outfits and just do some makeup stuff. I don't know. Everybody already thinks I look like Cher or Morticia Adams anyway, or that one girl from, what was it? Pretty Little Liars. Yeah, so basically just embracing the pale face and long dark hair look. That's all it is. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next week.